Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to our witnesses today. Secretary Hegseth, I really appreciate your return to warrior ethos and the priorities of our military. Merit over performance is how you win, and it's how you save lives. And your love of our military comes out in everything you say. So we really support you and your team and what you're doing. General Caine, your comments about being in the middle and being apolitical also saves lives. I think all of the fellow veterans in this room, military guys, would agree that if somebody saved your life on the battlefield, you wouldn't care if they were male or female, black or white, Democrat, Republican, independent, whatever. We're all Americans, and we're all on the same team. And we put our differences aside and work as a team, we can turn the impossible to a possible. We can be outnumbered and still win. So I want to commend you guys for supporting our troops so they can best survive. Let's see, the border. Nobody talks about the border, Mr. Secretary, as you say, but it's incredible what you guys did in just a matter of weeks. The missions in Ukraine, Honduras, I don't know any other military in history who has been able to successfully do something so complicated, but it talks to the unity and the teamwork of all the joint force and how well they work together. I got a lot of questions. I'll try to go fast. $1.5 trillion budget. In that budget, I want to echo what Rep. Jackson said about U.S. SOCOM. We are often deploy, and we seem to be doing more with less, and we don't complain. And they won't be that voice. So for us in Congress, we want to be that voice. Is just take a look at the budget and see if we can help them with that. Also, I want to talk to you guys about solid rocket motors. I know that the Secretary of War, I know that in this budget we picked one particular company that we put a lot of money in, and I think it's a great company, and they do a great job. But what is your plan to also have other companies come to the table to help us with a shortfall with solid rocket motors?
You're right on SOCOM, and we will absolutely work with you and look at that. On solid rocket motors, it's such a critical component. You got to go with your fastest runner to get caught up as quickly as you can and giving them incentives. But we've also learned on multiple domains that just one option means zero options when you're stuck. You know, 1 is 0, 2 is 1 is none. So we need multiple avenues on that approach, and we look forward to finding other companies that can do it as well.
Thank you. General Caine, National Guard, I'm thinking about counter-drone with FIFA coming up, Super Bowls and all these things going on. Have you considered, and if you haven't, will you consider training National Guardsmen, send them to counter-drone schools so they can come back and train law enforcement so we can increase our ability to protect critical infrastructure?
Sir, for sure. They may already be doing that. Please let me take that one and come back to you. I know the Title 32 force, in advance of all the domestic things that are on the horizon here with America's 250, are looking at a range of capabilities. So if you'd be okay, we'll get back to
Thank you.
That one.
On Ukraine, whoever could answer this is, you know, they have 60% enriched uranium. They say they have enough to build 11 bombs. Even at 60%, is that enough to make a dirty bomb? Is that a yes or no? Does anybody have an answer for that?
I mean, I wouldn't want to state anything that might be classified, so I wouldn't talk about that in this setting.
And by the way, in World War II, a congressman was in a closed briefing and learned that the reason the Japanese hadn't sunk any U.S. submarines is they didn't know our submarines could go below 250 feet. So he went out to the media and told them that, and we started losing submarines and losing American sailors. So a lesson for all of us in Congress: be careful how we. So thank you for considering that. I would say this: if they had a nuclear bomb, would that kill hundreds of people potentially, thousands of people potentially, or millions of people potentially?
The history shows us what the lethal potential is of a nuclear weapon, and so you'd have to assume the higher end of that range, and given the radical nature of this regime and the likelihood of them to use it, it gives you a sense of the threat.
Well, I think the threat is too great to wait, and I have to commend this President Trump for having the fortitude, and the Secretary of War and the joint force for making sure we stop this threat for the world. Also, I'm a big supporter of the AH-64 Apache. I understand in operations Absolute Resolve and everything else, it's been very effective in countering drones. I'm glad that in the NDAA we're keeping that program going. And I just saw that you're going to keep the A-10 program going. And a good friend of mine said, long live the Warthog. But if there's ways that we can bring some of the Warthogs back and or Are there any other capabilities that can replace the Warthog? I don't think so. Is there anything that can do what the Warthog does?
Gentlemen's time's expired.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.